to my channel. My name is Amara Franklin and this is Mommy Knows Blogging. On this channel you're going to learn the latest tips and tricks to help you to launch or improve your blog. Now I thought that it was really appropriate to kind of kick things off on this channel with like an ultimate guide to blogging, or a beginner's guide to blogging if you will. And I'm calling it Blog Like a Pro. Now I have been a blogger for, a little over 2 years. And in the beginning, I really struggled and kind of flailed around a bit, just trying to figure out, and navigate my way through blogging. A lot of trial and error, a lot of failures, a lot of breaks in between. When I started out, my site did not look very professional whatsoever. And over the course of the last few years, I've been able to really, figure things out along the way. And my goal here on this channel is to kind of help save all of you that might be just, starting a blog or thinking about blogging, save you some of that hassle and that headache, and let you, give you the tips and the knowledge that I have to help you launch with major success. You look at all these professional bloggers and people that really, have it down and you think that it's going to take you a long time to get there, and it really doesn't have to. You can start your blog like a professional from day one if you just follow a few simple steps. So we're going to break this series up into 4 videos because the pre-production stage, there's about 10 steps, and if we did it in one video, we'd be here for like an hour. And I don't have time to film that, and I'm sure you would definitely not have time to watch an hour-long video. So we're going to break the first step, which is pre-production. We're going to break that up into 2 videos, and then from there we'll do production and post-production will have its own video. So I really hope that you enjoy this and that you find it helpful. And with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off with step number 1. All right, so the first thing that you want to do in pre-production is, this is all about planning, thinking, getting prepared, and just kind of working things out before you ever launch. So in order for that to happen, you need to have the actual, supplies and things that you need to create your blog. You're going to need things that you need to help you plan and prep and prepare. So for this first step, I call it gather your supplies. And that could be anything from, you need a new computer, or, photography equipment. Are you going to need a new camera? Are you using your cell phone? Do you need lighting equipment? And we're going to do a whole video on all of these different things, in the future. But right now, what I really want to focus on as far as gathering your supplies is going to be the things that you need to help you with planning and preparation. So that can be kind of one of 2 ways. You can go with, digital and apps and, web-based programs like Google Calendar and Evernote. Those are the 2 apps that I use for all of my note-taking and my planning. And, I write out all my blog posts in Evernote, and anything that I'm doing that I want to be digital or done, on my phone or on my computer, those are the apps that I use. Google Calendar is amazing for your content calendar, which we'll talk about a lot more in another video. But these are the things that you're going to need, as far as apps goes. You may, however, be more somebody that likes to put pen to paper or have a planner, something that you can physically hold in your hand when you look at your calendar and figure out, what post you're going to do on which day, or write lists and, brainstorm on a notebook. And if that's the case, and that's kind of the type of person you are and how you think best, then definitely get a good planner. Something that is thick and sturdy. Don't use one of those tiny little pocket-sized planners. Just make sure you have a nice sturdy planner and something that you can use day in and day out. Or if you're like me, you may use a combination of both. I'm gonna do a full video later that kind of shows you how I plan things out. And what I typically do is I use my planner to kind of brainstorm, move things around, and then once I figured out my contents calendar and I know exactly what I'm posting and when, then I can go and move all of that into my Google Calendar and start writing things out on Evernote. So those are the supplies that I personally use and the ones that I would suggest to you. All right, so the second step is to brainstorm, and this is where you get all of those ideas that you have in your head and you get them out and you plan and you prep and you do different types of things to brainstorm. This is everything. This is going to be everything from your niche, what type of blog you're going to write, your blog name, any topics or series ideas that you may have, everything that's you kind of are already thinking, and this is why you want to start a blog. This is where you're going to kind of put that down, and you're going to really map out exactly what it is that you want to write about. So for example, you may have an idea of, I'm going to start a beauty blog. Okay, well, what does that mean? What kind of beauty blog are you going to do? Are you focusing on skincare? Are you focusing on makeup? Are you going to do both? Are you high-end, or are you drugstore, or are you both? Do you have any ideas of certain series that you could write, like, hauls, or, a lot of beauty bloggers will write series on, dupes, so a high-end product and a lower-end product, and do they compare? These are things that you should be thinking about, and when you do, get them out of your head and put them on paper and start planning and mapping those things out now, because the more prepared you are now, the better and more seamless your blog will be when you launch. Okay, so now that we've figured out, we've got our supplies and we've done a lot of research and kind of brainstorming, and we've got an idea of what it is that, what our niche is and what our topics are. We've got some series ideas. Now it's time to figure out what our name is going to be and to secure that domain name. So you don't want to, you want to do a lot of research when you're doing this as well. You don't want to just say, hey, I'm going to be Mommy Knows Blogging, and then run out and secure my domain name and not make sure that that's available on social media, because that can hurt you. My very first blog that I ever launched, I did exactly that. I wanted it to be The Beauty Report. That was a name that I really, really wanted. I did everything. I was totally ready to go with that name. And then I realized that not only was that name not available as a domain name, but it also was not available on any social medias. So I had to switch things around and kind of change things up. That's not a blog I currently run anymore. However, I learned the hard way that you don't want to just jump on board, create a website, do all of these things, even secure your domain name if that name's not going to be available on social media, because it can be confusing to your audience. And so what you want to do right now is you want to figure out your name, have a couple of backup options just in case the one that you want isn't available. So go to your domain register, type in what you want, make sure it's available, don't buy it. Hop on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, wherever you want to be active on social media, and make sure that that name's going to work. Then, once you're happy and you know that you can be on social media with it, then you want to go out and you want to secure that name. You want to secure it by purchasing the domain name, and you also want to go ahead and set up those social profiles. So you don't have to do anything with them yet, but you at least want to make sure that you have the name. So that right now we're thinking ahead with branding and making sure that when somebody thinks Mommy Knows Blogging, they think of me. Or if they think of me, they know that they can go to Twitter, they can go to Facebook, they can go to Pinterest, and they can type out Mommy Knows Blogging, and they're going to see Amara Franklin's face. Funny story, Twitter, however, does not let you have a really long name. So just keep that in mind. On Twitter, I am Mommy Knows Blogs, because I did not follow my own advice and I secured everything, and I knew I was going to be, Mommy Knows Blogging, and sadly on Twitter, my number one social media outlet, it didn't quite work out for me. So take my advice, do as I say, not as I do, and make sure before you go and you do all this work with your name that that name's going to work out for you. All right, so we're just kind of rolling through all these. So now we're at number 4. So now that we've secured our name on social media, you actually want to start setting up all those profiles now. I know, you're probably thinking this is kind of putting the cart before the horse. I don't even have a blog. I didn't wrote anything. Why am I setting up my social profiles? And that's because you want to have an audience when you launch. You want to be engaged with people, and you want to have people that are going to pay attention. When I started Miracles Come in Pairs, which is my mommy blog, I launched everything first, and then I started trying to find people to follow and engage with. And it took me 2 years to get to 800 followers on Twitter. I started Mommy Knows Blogging. I haven't even technically launched yet, as of today when I'm filming, and I have over 1,500. And that's because I started this now. I'm not saying that you have to get out there and start engaging, but you can at least start by setting up the profiles, making sure that they look professional, put up a picture, put up a quick little tagline, and start following a few people. If people follow you, follow them back. If they talk to you, say hello. And then, obviously focus on everything else, but start at least getting those things set up, because if somebody comes across you, they can start following you today and then be really, really interested when it's time for you to go live. So go ahead and set up those profiles. Don't just secure the name and not look professional, because that's going to hurt you. So make sure that you set up the name, that you put a picture of you up there. It can all be changed later. Once you figure out your kind of tagline or what you want your social profiles to say, you can go in and you can adjust them and you can make them better. But to start with, just get something quick and easy up there and start kind of getting some followers and start engaging with some people. All right, guys, so now that you've gone through all of these other steps, you've gotten prepared, you've got some supplies, you've been brainstorming, you've secured your domain name, and you've set up those social profiles, you've even got some friends online and some followers. Now you need to write some blog posts. But I don't have a site to put them on. Why are you having me write blog posts if I don't have a site to put it on? I know, this is probably what's going through your head right now. Why am I listening to this lady? She's crazy. I know, but there's actually a reason why I want you to write these posts before you even have your site created. And that's because a lot can change when you sit down to write a blog. You need to still figure things out. That's what all of this process is about preparing and doing your research and figuring out what kind of blogger you're going to be. And you may sit down to write your first post and decide that you really don't like writing. Maybe you realize that you want to create video, or maybe you want to do a podcast, or maybe you want to do some sort of mix of all of these things, which is totally awesome. And that's actually something that I love to do. I do blogging and I do video, and eventually I want to do a podcast because I love each form of media. Maybe for you, you're going to start writing and you're going to realize that this is your passion and that this is what you're good at. But you want to develop your voice and you want to figure out your tone. And there's a lot of different things that you still need to figure out with writing before you design your site. Because the last thing that you want is to design a whole blog and figure out that you're going to do video. Or that, everything that you designed just doesn't quite match up with the style of writing that you have. Because you don't want your writing to be determined by, or you don't want the way that you write to be affected by the way that your site looks. You want your site to look in a way that matches and complements your writing style. And this is also a way for you to kind of get started also with having a great launch. Because if you can write, I suggest anywhere between 3 to 5 blog posts. If you can have 3 to 5 blog posts written, ready to go before you go live, that's amazing. That means you get to launch not with just one measly little blog for people to read. You get to launch with 3 to 5 blog posts for people to really sink their teeth into and to really dig into your content. And that is exciting. Because when the goal with writing and when they get to your blog is we don't want them to just read one and go. We want them to read and continue reading and to continue engaging with what they're reading on your blog. So if you can launch with multiple posts, you're going to be so much better off. So the next thing I want you to do before we get into all the fun design stuff is to get writing. Get to 3 to 5 posts, and then we'll go ahead and talk about how your blog is going to look. And all of that fun design work is some of my favorite aspects, and that is all going to be coming in the next video. So this is the end of part 1 of the Blog Like a Pro pre-production series. In the next video, we're going to cover tips 5 through 10, and then we'll move on from there. Alright guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today. Do me a favor, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you have not done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will be doing videos every Tuesday and Thursday. So make sure to come back here, every week, and we will go over all the latest tips and tricks that are going to help you to launch or improve your blog.